Year 6 with the St. John's Red Storm was kind of devastating. We went 25-11, 12-6 in conference, and then we finished as the 9th-ranked team in the country. And it's only devastating because of those double-digit losses. We had to replace the whole team. That class of 2011 was out of there. So we did a wonderful job. 77-73, we beat UC Santa Barbara in the first round. And I say wonderful job because, I'm being sarcastic. So we played Bama, and we ended up winning 92-89. And as you see this year, I'm not really focused on any players. I'm just focused on the fact that we had such a rough season. We lost 97-64 to Florida. We got annihilated. I don't know how we didn't get more guys to kind of be ready and waiting to pick up the slack. But you know what I do realize too is when you get really good players to try to replace stars and stuff like that, sometimes they leave, right? Like imagine if you do recruit somebody really good and they're like, nah, bro, I'm not going to wait my turn. So I think that's part of it. We did get Rich, that made the all-freshman second team for the conference, and then Parrish, who made the all-conference first team for freshmen. So we did get some guys in. We did have a few guys go to the league in the past couple of years. So that did entice some people. And that whole class that we had that left went to the league from 2011. The problem is, though, we couldn't get anyone to get any experience behind them. And so now we're looking at the conference awards. We really don't got anybody. It was just a down year in my opinion because 11 losses is crazy. Like, that is nuts. We was losing out of conference games and stuff too. Like, bro, that was nuts. I'm kind of just happy for that year to be over with, even though we finished in the top 10 still, right? And the one player to kind of look at that we're going to be losing this time around is Wheeler. And even as you see here, this guy's off the bench somehow his senior year. Don't know how, bro. But he had a good senior year because he averaged 17.4 points, 9.2 rebounds, and 1.9 blocks. He ended up with 1,000 points, well over that, and 780 rebounds and 237 blocks coming out of Cathedral City. But all his awards came when he was a freshman. So he's a first-round pick. I thought he would have been able to carry the team, but as you see here, they put him as a six-man. And then the next player, Nick Howard. This dude really didn't have no impact. His first year, 2.5 points. He went up to 9.1, 3 rebounds. And he had to get up out of here. Really, that's what his mindset was, right? In the tournament, he had 12.3 points and then 4.3 rebounds. And for him as a 6'5" forward/guard, he's going to the lottery just off of potential. Because his first year, like I just said, he ain't do nothing. He was one of those dudes that kind of didn't want to wait his turn. But now, if you know anything about NBA Live, now we got to talk about his other hype brother. And the thing with him, bro, is, and when I say him, I'm talking about Felix Conklin. So you saw him, he won all Big East. I think it might have been second team all conference for freshmen. But he's out of Bakersfield, California. And he's more of one of those guys like along the lines that kind of slipped through the cracks. He was a 3-star. He was the 159th ranked player in the country, 39th at his position. So he's not the normal player that we go after, especially when we have our program established, right? But we're going back to California. They're the 24th ranked team in the country. We're number one, as always, how we always start off strong, 11-0. And this is his opportunity. And I know Bakersfield is nowhere near Berkeley, or UC Berkeley, but this is his opportunity. Even Ben Golden, he's from Cali. This is their opportunity to go back home. And he's a catch and shoot 3-point shooter as well. Obviously, throughout this series, you've seen with Hopkins, Vasher, we got some shooters, bro. We really do. Even Golden right there could shoot a little bit. We got the catch and shoot players. That's what we recruit. And like I said with him, it's the traits, bro. The same thing that we just talked about with Vasher. These guys are not like jumping out to you. They're not doing these ridiculous things, but they can shoot the long ball. As the game progresses, they're looking for 3-and-D players. They're looking for players that can shoot. Like, they don't even care. I'm going to be honest. We're up by 11 right now with the block. Watch out, bro. You got blocked by a guard. They're not really looking for dudes that could do everything anymore. They're looking for dudes that, can you play defense? All right, we got a spot for you. Can you rebound? Can you block shots? You know what I mean? Like, the game just evolved. I feel like back in the day, you had to be able to do a little bit of everything and be solid to be in the NBA. But nowadays, it's like, can you do X? We don't need you to do Y and Z. And they fill out the roster that way. So for him, being from Cali, this is our second, because Wheeler was a good player for us. But this is one of our first stars from California. And he could shoot it. It's not an ugly form. It's a weird form. It's not too ugly, though. He could shoot. It's kind of long-armed. And he's only, 6'5". He ain't this ridiculously big small forward. So same thing like we did with York. He's going to have to change his position in the NBA. He's not going to be a 6'5" small forward. And so playmaking a little bit, nothing flashy. He's not really off the dribble with it. He's more catch and shoot, as you can see. And I mean, I don't know what his player comp would be. And it can't be just because he's white that he's Larry Bird. Because, Larry Bird is a really good shooter too, but he ain't 6'5". So that wouldn't be his comp. And I don't know, who's a 6'5" knockdown shooter? We ended up winning by 24 points. Kind of just dominating them. And then Golden was the player of the game, 16 points, 9 assists, because he was the playmaker in this situation. And he's like one of the lone bright spots that I keep saying about young players, even when we had that bad season last year. But I don't know, who's a 6'5" knockdown shooter? Like a Kyle Korver? But I think he was like 6'8", wasn't he? JJ Redick was coming off the screens. I think he's 6'5", but he was coming off the screens. I don't know, no. And like I said, Mike Miller or somebody, like, I don't know. It doesn't have to be a white player. I'm just thinking, who the hell, in all reality, even though I just did that, is a knockdown 6'5" PJ Tucker? I think he might be like a PJ Tucker type of player where he's not like, oh my God, we need him, but he could hit his corner three. He ended with 24 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists. That's not a bad game. And if you know anything about NBA Live 18, again, this guy is going to be, like we said, all-conference freshman. Should have thought about the draft, should have did something, because he was coming off the bench for a team that was stacked and was good, but then he didn't. And then he got hurt after 6 games his sophomore year, where he came out scoring. And we ended up finishing the season 32-7, 12-6 in conference, and we finished as the number 3 ranked team in the country. So not a bad season. Far from the 37-2 championship season, but we ended up in the Final Four again. So we played Drexel first round, beat them 94-87, a little bit too close for comfort. Then we played GMU, and he had 13. We beat him 86-76. Then we played OSU. He had 21, and we beat him 98-68. We beat the crap out of them, and they get me so mad because they always steal our recruits. Then we played Wake Forest. He had 17, and we beat him 73-64. Then we get to the Final Four against Gonzaga, a team of destiny. He had 31. We lost 98-95, bro. His biggest game was his last against Gonzaga. And I feel like he's always had talent. Just stuff has been going wrong for him. And, being from California where you can play for anybody, you could play for Sierra Canyon. You could go play for Bishop Gorman. I think he was just a little known dude. We got 2 guys, Dennison and Moss, on the Big East freshman second team. We got Salsa Ball on the Big East first team with Ferguson as well. So we do have some guys coming up now, but we needed them last year, bro. We definitely didn't need them this year. This year we kind of held our own. We needed them last year. And I don't even know, man, what was going on with recruiting. You think guys would come and love to play for us because we did so well, but I guess not. At the end of the day, though, like I said, another Big East Coach of the Year award for me. I don't know, man. You would think you got some guys going to the league. They're all playing and doing some good things. You got a whole class of dudes that declared for the draft, basically. Some transferred away, obviously, earlier on because they didn't want to wait their turn. But that whole class of 11 was NBA players. The whole class of 12, NBA players. Now we're going to go look at Conklin, though. Class of 14. And we had to put his stats up. So he had 19 points, 3.4 rebounds, and 2.5 assists for his junior year. He had 1,000 points for his career. And in the tournament, he actually averaged 20 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists. He didn't really win any awards, but he could be a top 3 pick because, I mean, when the time was right, he played big. And there goes the end to another video.
Always love the game like this LA sunshine. Ain't a damn thing changed. Only ball on my mind.
Thank you for watching this video.
See you soon. 22 like the world been mine.